This might be the thing that most often gets missed in my Algebra 2 classes. So the question today that we're looking at is, why does a plus b quantity squared have a middle term? It doesn't matter what level I'm teaching. I hear from calculus teachers all the time. Same thing, that students will see a plus b squared, and they'll write it as a squared plus b squared. But that's not correct. So we're going to look at why that is the case here. We're going to look at two examples. So on the left side, we're going to have x plus 3 squared. And on the right side, we're going to have 3x in parentheses squared. So on the left side, notice that we've got an x and a 3. On the right side, we've got an x and a 3 also. Both of them are being squared, but on the left side, we've got a plus. So there's one little difference there, but that difference is really important. So now we're adding the x and the 3 inside. So first thing you have to remember is that an exponent is just repeated multiplication. So we are multiplying this parentheses by itself. So what we're actually doing here is x plus 3 times x plus 3. On the right side, same thing. We've got a parentheses with a 3x in the middle, or inside, and we're multiplying that by itself. So we've got 3x times 3x. So there's a couple things that people are mixing up here. In this first one, whenever you have parentheses and something on the inside that's being added, we can distribute. So we're using the distributive property. Over here, and this is where the mix-up happens, we're not distributing, we're multiplying everything. So the distributive property doesn't come into play here. This would be one of our rules of exponents. So this uses the rule of exponents with x times y squared. In a sense, that's distributing. We can distribute that too. Sometimes it'll be phrased that way. But really what you're doing is you're multiplying xy times xy. But since everything is being multiplied, you get x times x, which is x squared, and y times y, which is y squared. So if we're multiplying this 3x by itself, we have 3 times 3 times x, which becomes 3 squared x squared, or 9x squared. So we're not distributing that, and that is a common mistake that students make as well. They'll multiply the 3 by the 3 and the 3 by the x, and then the x by the 3 and the x by the x. But you can't do that since we're not adding inside that parentheses. So this gives you 9x squared. Now on the left side, we are adding, so this does use the distributive property. And what we're doing here now is we're taking this x plus 3 and we're distributing that to the x, and we're distributing that to the 3. So that's where the FOIL pattern comes in. If you've heard FOIL, which is first, outer, inner, last, it's just a name given to distributive property. So we're just distributing that first parentheses into the second parentheses twice. But if we use that pattern, we would go x times x, which is x squared, x times 3, so there's your outer terms. That's plus 3x. Then we've got our inner terms, 3 times x again, which is 3x. And then we've got 3 times 3, which is 9. When we combine those together, we've got x squared plus 6x plus 9. So we do have the x squared and the x squared. We do have the 9 and the 9, but because we're adding in there, we have that extra set of 3x's that get combined together. So you could look at this as x squared plus 2 times 3x plus 9, which is where we get that general rule from, which is a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So it's this first one squared, it's the second one squared, and then it's the a times the b doubled. So we would double that 3, make it 6, and we get 6x. So that's where that 2ab comes from. And so here's a meme I show my students, that you've got a plus b squared walking with a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, but he's taking a look at that a squared plus b squared. So don't forget that we are distributing here, and that exponents mean repeated multiplication. So we're multiplying the parentheses by itself. When you're adding or subtracting the terms inside the base, you need to FOIL to get that second term, or to get that middle term. So don't forget the middle term. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll never make that mistake again, but if you do, remember you are in great company, because that happens no matter what level you're in. If you like this video, subscribe and check out bodinemath.com and see what's coming up soon.